here, and we'll quit out. So I think the sound's all good. Okay. I think once I click this, we'll get it started. So I'll just do a quick introduction. I'm those crazy guys on the couch. We have, you can just introduce yourselves.
I'm Dark Fox 36. Hi.
Sure, Schmoopy.
Yeah, so they're gonna do that. Yeah, the timer splice run. Here we go. So one thing you get to enjoy, in case you haven't seen Ninja Pizza Girl before, I'm doing the built-in speedrun mode, so you get to see both the world record time to see how poorly I'm doing against the best time, as well as the PB time is all my gold splits on every level, so you can see how bad I'm doing against those two. So if you enjoy pointing out my failures, feel free to do that in chat all time. So I think we're ready to start. So I'll count you down. You're good? Okay. We'll do start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll go.
They may not seem practical for pizza delivery, but they're practical for
ninja
pizza delivery.
Exactly. So the general story is that your name is Gemma, and you are a pizza delivery girl. Apparently nowadays, in the future, all pizza deliveries are done on rooftops. So you are running across the rooftops delivering pizza. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Exactly.
Seems rather unsafe.
Yeah, it's pretty unsafe. It's it seems that the people enjoy doing some rooftop running. So what I'm trying to do here, you kind of see these little lights coming around me. The faster I, don't break combo by running, I build up this meter. Once I hit full meter, you get this music. Hopefully we want to hear this music as much as possible because it means you're moving at full speed, so you get a bit of extra running speed boost. And what that allows you to do is, get through these levels quicker. Yeah, a lot of wub-wubs.
Don't you think that they would have come up with a better way to deliver pizza in the future than running?
No, that's, maybe, all the ground is completely destroyed and useless.
What are the buildings on?
That's a great question. They're all floating. So each chapter has its own theme. This game was primarily made as sort of an anti-bullying game. So the first chapter is about dealing with people who answer the door for pizza naked. I don't know why this was a huge problem, but it wouldn't surprise me if pizza delivery at any time people answering questionable clothing choices. So you'll see those little things there. I skipped it here, but picking one of those up automatically brings you up to full speed. So you want to, if you're not, too far out of the way, picking one of those up is useful. So I'm going to do a little jump here. Yeah. So we're going to drop down here. It's really hard to maintain full speed because the second you stop forward momentum, you lose, and the only way to get that perfectly is by hitting the wall as you're about to fall down and then jumping off it. So it's pretty hard to maintain speed there.
So you just do you basically just reverse direction off the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because anytime you stop doing forward momentum, so if you have to stop, if you have to turn around, you lose the full speed.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like Sonic.
So why the recycling symbols? That's a great question. So the recycling symbols, this is something that you'll notice as we kind of hit chapter 2 and 3. The longer the game goes on, the grayer the screen begins to get. It seems like it's kind of sort of a motivational thing it's pushed as. So what happens is that when the motivation kind of goes down as you either get knocked down or the levels go on, it takes a little longer to get a full speed built up. So what you want to do here is collect those, and it lets you buy different costume choices, which actually boost up the meter. So a few points at the end of chapters, I'll buy a couple costumes to up that, which will make it harder for me to get fully knocked down, as well as making the screen a little lighter. Yeah, so as you just saw there, we just ran into the rival fast food mega corporation, because all mega corporations are evil. So this is Mega Pizza Co., and their job is to apparently make fun of you and try and stop you. So most of the time we're going to stop them by diving or doing a quick dive pick, though, if you kind of jump over them and try to dive attack them, you can get a little speed that way.
So they're just bullies.
Yeah, they're just flat out bullies. Actually, if you're talking about good bullying, or not good bullying, but the bullying they do, anytime they knock you down, they begin laughing at you. So feel free to
Laugh along.
copy anything that they say in chat when I get knocked down, which I'm sure is going to happen at least once or twice this run.
And then you'll get back up.
Yes, hopefully.
What if you don't?
If I don't, then, you know, the run's over. Although,
okay.
that's
that.
not actually reasonably going to happen.
That sounds faster. That sounds like a much faster way to end the run.
Yeah, exactly.
Beating the game.
It's the cheat thing. Just get knocked down and don't ever get up again. But we're not going to let the bullies win, so... Oh, that was a questionable choice. Yeah, very questionable choice. Realistically, I wanted to jump over that. I did not. So... There's a general quickest route to take. One of the nicer parts about this game is that there are many different routes, and there are only a few levels where the routes actually, where like going off route will cause you to lose a huge amount of time. Generally, you'll lose a second or two by going off route. Like I'll probably end a couple seconds behind a PP here because I fell, or because I actually took the trampoline when I didn't want to. So what we're going to try and do here is jump off these things. And that gives, if you're kind of on a downward slope there, jumping off will give you a lot of forward momentum. So there we go. And you can enjoy this beautiful picture. Yeah, that's not something you want to see as a pizza delivery person. So
This is a Christian stream here. I
Yes.
can't be seeing that.
yeah, that's truly unacceptable. So that's why she threw his pizza and did not get any of it.
Dude, harsh.
Yeah.
What a waste of pizza.
I know, right? But hey, that's just the lesson. Don't show up naked to the door. So number 2 is actually about. Sort of the actual just verbal bullying. So apparently she's going to meet somebody who's afraid of heights and doesn't like going outside. So apparently it's super funny that she is afraid of heights. Oh, I was super desperate for a world record. That's why I run this game, even though technically I'm only like 5th on the internal leaderboard.
Bet. That's
So
not
obviously I'm not dedicated enough for a world record.
Clearly you need to spend more time
Yeah.
playing video games.
Although somebody else created the speedrun.com leaderboard, so you know I could just easily slip in there for an easy world record. So if you want to put in minimal effort to unseat me, go ahead.
Also, you're skipping through a lot of this text. You kind of get
Yeah,
this,
so
story
basically
going
they're
on.
talking about the bars that she has set up and saying that they took them down when, you know, her brother was 2 and she's afraid of heights. And apparently, you know, the main character doesn't understand why making fun of somebody makes them not very happy. But now, this time, the roles get reversed. And it turns out she's going to deliver pizza to somebody who made fun of her. True role reversal.
Oh no.
Yeah. So as you can see, the levels are already starting to get a little darker compared to when we first started. And it was super colorful. It's getting a little gray. Not too bad at this point, but a little bit.
Is this game just designed with speedrunning in mind particularly?
It doesn't look like it was designed necessarily with fully speedrunning in mind, but it's definitely built that way. Also, I enjoy that guy that just turns around, as well as this plank, which is just loving the music and bouncing up and down
Or the
very
party plank there?
enthusiastically. Yeah, that's the party plank. So when falling, you want to try and turn around because that allows you to maintain speed. Same here, you want to wall jump to maintain speed. So that was pretty good there.
Have you had at least 16 ounces of water, Dan? Wow.
Yep.
According to
Make
the
sure
bot,
to
we need
stay
to drink that
hydrated.
much water.
We have to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta stay hydrated.
I don't know. I haven't actually had any water.
So now she's getting made fun of, and
Just
it turns out
coffee has water in it.
it's not very funny to get made fun of. The real life lessons being delivered here.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny when people were making fun of me last night.
Yeah. So now, you know, she feels bad and wants to deliver an apology pizza to the other girl. So now you get to run in a completely different direction to her. So in terms of funny modes for this, they released a first-person mode, which I don't understand why they would do. It basically, considering the fact that it's a 2D game, they turn it on its side, and you're running forward. It's kind of like if you took an old Sonic game and just really messed with it.
Yeah.
So, like the forward-running levels.
That does seem really weird.
Are you kind of almost saying like the Mach speed from Sonic 06?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
What? So is this game like?
And
2D,
I managed
is
to.
this like 2.5D?
Not. It's mostly just 2D, but I guess you could add, you know, that extra half. If you switch to first-person mode, you know.
Right.
Okay, so we managed to hit that. And, you know, nice and slow. So, she gives an apology pizza for being rude to her and shows her that, you know, you shouldn't be afraid of heights. So the next level is one of the first kind of... Most of the levels are just running from one point, like point A to point B. But there are about 4 levels in this game that have kind of unique objectives to them. So this one, the thing that you can pick up that makes you run fast, you want to collect them and fill up the meter. So there's a specific route you take to try and collect as many of them so that there's a final ramp down at the end with a bunch that you can jump for. But if you hit the perfect route, you don't have to jump for them, which saves a few seconds because jumping when sliding down is really slow. So we're going to try and hit it. The hardest part is going to be coming up soon where you have to make 3 short jumps in a row because the momentum can really mess with you. So I messed it up there. So I'll probably need to make a jump, time to reset. So as long as I don't mess up anything seriously, we should still be fine. I'll just need to jump for the last few.
It's not fine. I expect perfection.
Yeah.
I want to see a frame-perfect speed run.
Yeah, so it looks like we're pretty fine, other than that we're going to have to jump for these here. So otherwise, if you look at how fast it is to slide down, not having to jump for those would save you a couple seconds. So we managed to have a
literally bullying him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a game that's about anti-bullying.
Yeah.
Bullying him
We're literally bullying him, yeah.
Yes, this is great. So you've now showed her that going outside is fun. So we're going to stop and quickly purchase the first 2 costume changes just to kind of lighten the game back up and make it harder. So what's this game's stance on pineapple pizza? They have some really weird pizzas in this game that come in Chapter 4. So in terms of some weird pizzas, actually I think it's at the end of this chapter here, that's a really weird pizza. So I'm sure they would be perfectly fine with pineapple pizza.
Yeah, but what's your stance on pineapple?
My stance is pineapple pizza is wonderful, and anyone who thinks otherwise is a heathen. And I messed that up, so that was great. Because normally if I did everything perfect, I would have my full speed there, so I'm going to jump over that, not jump up this one, and go through.
So do they just like push you over and laugh at you?
Yeah.
That's as dark as it gets?
Yeah, that's about as dark as it gets. Well, except for when later on they do something a bit more sinister. Won't spoil it too much, but you get to watch some very interesting choices by some mega corporations. So of course I hit it right at the end of the level for full speed. Yeah, later on is definitely the time where I'm going to get knocked down a lot, so that's when you can really lay it on there.
You should have more faith in yourself. Don't.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I have not finished a run without getting knocked down at least once, so you'll get lots of laughs. What sense does it make for that? Oh yeah, so the reason why my PB would be below the world record is the world record times it shows is for the actual world record splits. Where for PB, it's not for your PB splits, it's for your gold splits. So it's really weird in that respect because you're always competing against your gold split. So for example, I could end plus on every time here and still PB. So it was kind of an interesting choice by the developers to do that, but that's what they chose. So you purposely don't break that block there. They made a patch update that removed a swinging thing there where you were supposed to end up when you blew through there. So now if you break through it, you just fall on the ground and they laugh at you. So
Wow.
yeah, something to watch out for.
Now, the devs are bullying
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. How can the devs make a game against anti-bullying while they bully you?
Yeah, well, they just want to make sure you're paying attention, keep you on your toes. So for this one, we're not going to jump off, we're just going to slide down because it keeps the speed. So yeah, this one I've kind of been skipping over the story as we've been going through it. It's more of a romance one, that the first girl you see at the first pizza has affections for this guy, but apparently he thinks of her as just a friend. But now you've met him, and it turns out that he feels the same way. So she just told him that go profess your true feelings, and now we're trying to see what the result of that is.
Someone's twirling.
So you want to turn very tight here. There we go.
The stream. Is it going over the stream?
Is what going into the stream?
There's like drilling going on in the background.
Oh yeah, I definitely
asking
hear
for-
that. I wasn't sure if that was the game. So this is a pretty hard drop here. You need to constantly break through it. If you press the button too early or too late, you just completely miss breaking it and lose your combo. So overall, is he going to confess his love with pizza? That would be a spoiler alert, but you know,
Well, I mean,
he
let's be
does.
honest. Would you rather love a girl or pizza?
Well,
Pizza.
in this case, you get to love both. So
No, one or the other.
yeah, you only get to choose. Yeah, double shift as a social guru. Yeah, it turns out that it's giving life advice is actually her secondary job.
I feel like if you exclusively love pizza, it would make your life a lot
Yeah,
easier.
so it turns out he can't figure out what to say, so he'll say it with
Yeah.
pizza. And this pizza is probably the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. It's, got garlic and chilies and just a bunch of stuff that they describe on it that doesn't sound very good. It also has to be delivered piping hot. So now we have this heat meter on the left that slowly drops down as you run. If it drops below that little divot, you automatically fail the mission. So this is one of the few missions similar to the one where you had to collect the symbols, where you can actually fail and have to restart. There's only a few of them, and generally it doesn't happen, but what better time than a marathon? So I'm going to stop here to fully let the pizza heat up. It'll ruin my speed, but that will allow me to make it to the end of the level if I hit everything correctly without needing to stop again to heat it up. So I'm basically positioning myself to jump on these trampolines and then hope that I don't mess this up.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with Chad here. You're saying garlic and chili, and that alone doesn't sound too bad. So
Yeah, I think
that's
the
now a few
overload
key
of garlic and chili is kind of disgusting, because the way they kind of describe it is that it's kind of an excessive amount, not to the point where there's just a little bit. So anyway, so she eats it and immediately recognizes her love and runs away. So number 4, it starts with realizing this tiny little blip that is in the one section where you're delivering your pizzas for this Megaco corporation. So now this chapter is all about basically making your own clothes, and the perception of that meaning you're super poor. So, but I gotta say, her costume is way better than the ninja ones, because first of all, they just seem really uncomfortable unless it's raining out to walk around in those huge costumes.
Except it is raining.
Okay, and up we go. So now you're introduced to these fans, which just slowly blow you up. Slowly being the keyword. Also, if you hear any drilling in the background, sorry about that. We don't actually know who's doing that.
Hey, can you hear that, chat? Curious.
Which city has random fans? This is the future,
Yeah.
where you deliver pizza by blowing up super powerful fans.
All right. Chat can't hear drilling. They just hear the wubbing.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Yeah. Well, that's all we really want you to hear.
The wub is too strong.
Yeah. All you're really supposed to hear is the wubs, if you're hearing more of those. So now they're asking if she made her shoes herself, and then they make fun of her that she did make the shoes herself. So see, they're laughing at her right now. And then she gets consoled that her shoes actually look great.
I don't know, it seems pretty violent because she's like, they laugh at her and she just knocks them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I messed up the timing on that
Maybe
slightly.
she's the bully.
Well,
Maybe
yes,
that's
but the thing is, if it's kind of more of a battle of the strongest, because if you don't knock them out, they knock you out. So you gotta play safe here. Apparently, it's a very violent world up in Rooftop Pizza Delivery.
So this game is about bullying bullies.
It's more about protecting yourself, I guess, but that's the true story, isn't it?
Yeah, but this isn't in the school system because otherwise that no tolerance, she would have been gone like that.
Yeah.
So you have to take this top thing to help build up speed here. You only really build up speed and the meter if you jump. So if you just kind of fall off, you don't actually build up meter. Though that was kind of the worst time to get it because the level just end. So you go, delivers the pizza, and then runs straight into one of the, Mega Co Pizzas delivery people, and then offers to swap out uniforms and says, "Oh, we'll give you pizza." And then she says, "Well, we get all the pizza we want," but then with the quick retort that their pizza's good.
Now, who's the kid? Because I've seen him.
Yeah, so that's her brother, who is basically helping organize all the deliveries. So as you can see here, she's now wearing their costume. However, the costume is tore immediately the second she put it on. So great job. Realizing that maybe, it wasn't the best idea to take that costume. So you're introduced to a new enemy here, which are ones that you may have seen it a little bit before, but they're enemies that like to hide behind boxes. Really inconvenient when you're first playing through because they just kind of appear out of nowhere and jump on you and ruin your day.
Yeah, but I'm sure you've memorized where every single dude is.
Yeah, pretty much. However, this drop here is probably one of my least favorite drops. You need to be very careful because, okay, I got it. It's very easy to get turned around and the game won't let you turn back. So you're facing the wrong wall and you basically lose all your speed. So
Yeah.
I was able to maintain my speed here as I take out a full gang of bullies. And slide my way through to the end of the level. So now you deliver the pizza and this girl's sad because she doesn't have her cool costume. So now your character, Gemma, says, "Hey, do you want a costume?" So now comes our third mission where not only were we collecting these recycling things for your own costumes, but now we're going to collect 16 of them to make one for her. So you need to carefully make your way through. This is one of the levels where you don't really have a timer that's slowing you down, but if you don't have the perfect route here and kind of mess up some jumps, it can really slow you down because this route is pretty timed to make sure that you kind of hit all of them, the big amount of ones along the way. So like right here's 3. If you miss them, it slows you down because you have to walk a lot further to get to the end. Same here, where it's like if you miss these jumps, there's 2 more here that you would miss. Yeah, so really she's also, not only is she part-time pizza delivery girl, part-time therapist, she's also cleaning up the streets as she goes along. That's just really great work. So now there's a quick jump you can do here if I don't mess it up. Okay, I didn't. That allows you to just quickly save some time running around, saves about 2 seconds. So she's super happy because she was sad that it didn't look like hers, but hers gets 3 swooshy things, which is really better than 1.
Yeah.
So we're going to buy a quick thing, and here comes, in my mind, the most annoying chapter. Huge amounts of enemies, lots of places where if you mess up, things can just snowball out of control. So yeah, he finally tried your pizza, realized it's great, and of course the only way to solve this is to completely eliminate the competition. So it starts off by having you get made fun of, because apparently
That just sounds like bad business sense.
Yeah.
Your pizza's really good. Let's just
eliminate the competition?
Let's make fun of you
Yeah.
until you leave.
Yeah. Well, they start with that because, of course, you got to break them down, and then deliver the finishing blow.
Right.
Okay,
Oh, man.
there we go. So
Dude.
as you could see, he called me a tryhard. So there's a good start to messing up.
Well, I mean, you are trying to get like world record times.
Yeah.
So you trying to try and be fair.
Okay, so there we go. So
Slow
here's
down.
where I didn't mess that up. That spot there, due to a bug that's in here, if you're going full speed and try to slide, your foot gets clipped in the ground, and you can't make contact with that enemy I jumped over. So I was able to not make that mistake. Also, for my PB, that was a 101. I don't have the video of that, and I don't actually know what caused it. Also, I enjoy the tryhards here. So yeah, now she's sad, and her brother's saying, well, just talk to your dad about it. And of course, like any teenage delivery girl, she decides to internalize it instead, which is surely healthy.
Yeah, definitely.
So as you can see, the number of enemies are greatly picking up, and you also get introduced to a new enemy, the ceiling enemy. So apparently these ninjas have nothing better to do with their time than just hang on a ceiling and wait for me to walk by to drop down on them.
I mean, that seems reasonable. What would you do with your day if you were a ninja?
Just hang on ceilings, apparently.
Exactly. The only reason you're not doing it is because you can't.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little jealous. It would be great to get the drop on them for once.
Well,
So you need to pay a little more attention as well, because it's very easy to not realize there's somebody. And, oh, well, there goes.
Like
And
that?
now I'm a dork.
Dang.
I definitely was sliding there. That might have been another issue, so I'll just blame the game on that one.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's
never-
really the only solution.
Yeah. Just blame the game devs.
Yep.
Reminder
There
that
we go.
50% of speedrunning is not skill, it's complaining about the game
Yeah.
being poorly designed.
Really, if you're not complaining about the game, is it truly a game worth speedrunning?
No.
Because a perfectly made game is obviously already have the perfect world record, so there's
Right.
no point even trying. So a game has to be at least somewhat broken for you to remotely enjoy it. So these ones you have to jump because it starts falling, and if you don't jump ahead of time, you'll get caught and start falling down, and you lose a bunch of time if that happens. So I jumped a little too far there. Ideally, I would like to jump a little shorter. Ooh, that was close. So the orange enemies throw pies at you. Some of them have really good aim, to the point where they can hit you from super far away. It doesn't actually say what type of pie it is, so you can use your imagination for that. How is PB lower than world record? One's my gold split, the other's the actual time in the world record.
Or have you already passed the level with the PB like reset timer?
Oh no, that's one of the last levels of the game. So there's a fun chance here where I'm gonna run through, and I didn't get pushed down. There's a chance that I think the game is supposed to push you down there, like those people are supposed to push you down, and you start the level on the ground. However, there's a small chance that you can just. Okay, so here's what happens: if you get knocked down when you're at low morale, you can do this thing where you need to get stood up. So this is a great start to this level.
That's sarcasm.
And I got knocked down again. So this is honestly a great start. I also took the wrong path here, which is why I was supposed to go up instead of down. So yeah, this is where the enemies just start piling up. There's one point where it gets kind of ridiculous. I think it's actually in this level here. Oh wow, okay, I got sniped from about a mile away there. Okay, so at this point, I actually was able to jump up there. So So of course this time's going to look super close compared to my PB. So you want to jump off there while it's falling to get a good roll. And there we go. So, you know, only 15 seconds behind, basically right there. So over this chapter, she's been getting nice and broken down by the mean people talking to her. And so she's not being as nice to the customers anymore. So of course that part-time therapist isn't working. Okay, so now this guy's being nice to her and saying, oh, she's faster than you. And of course, he's the one real gentleman in the evil pizza corporation.
The one true gentleman?
Yep, the one true gentleman.
So he's the least bullyish bully?
Yep. At least that's so it seems.
Oh, okay. Well, now I don't think he's going to be the least bullyish bully soon.
But he's,
He
as you can
ruined
see.
it.
So this point here, you need to jump over. If you miss this jump or this jump, it takes about an extra 15 seconds
Oh, that's harsh.
to walk around, because you just lose a bunch of time needing to walk all the way around. Oh, wow, that was interesting.
Uh-oh.
I bounced up
The
and
music
collided
stopped.
with the bottom there, yeah, so I lost speed there, so it punishes you by stopping the cool wub music.
Now we just have to listen to this boring
So
atmosphere.
this is kind of fun. There's literally 8 people just kind of standing in a row here ready to laugh at you and crush you, so it's pretty cruel just to put that many people in a row.
How much money do you think this evil pizza corporation is spending just harassing you?
I know, right? It's like they have an outrageous number of people whose job, it seems, is to just patrol the rooftops and push you over.
Yeah, seriously, you'd think with all that money they could just buy your store.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about buying it, it's about sending a message.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that serious?
Oh, yeah.
No one's allowed to make pizza except them.
Yeah. So this is your aunt, and they tell her, you know, just take the bus, don't spend any time on the rooftops, which is probably a good idea, because apparently there are some really mean people up here. So this is the guy who was nice to you and tells you that, you know, they respect him, so if you beat him in a race, he'll, you know, show them that you're respectful and will leave you alone. Of course, the only way to do this race is to do it without your comms to your family whatsoever. Of course, that is completely reasonable request, and nobody would give any reason to cut off all contact with everyone else before doing this race. So now you're racing him. You're kind of just racing him to the end of a certain point down the rooftop.
Is it even a challenge to race this guy?
It's honestly not really that much of a challenge. You can lose. I have lost before. But it's pretty difficult. You have to mess up a couple points later on. If you mess up early on, he actually stops and laughs at you instead of continuing to run, so I think the game just feels bad for you. So this jump here you have to do kind of tight, or else you end up on that little hole there, so I managed to dodge that. So at this point it should be fine. It's pretty hard to mess up this last bit.
I bet we can manage.
Yeah, big trampoline, and we're fine. Yeah, that's true. She would run a lot faster with her arms backwards. So he kind of shows up and says, oh, you'll be happy when you look home, and they set your place on fire. So it went from a... they went from bullying you and making fun of you to burning down your pizza shop. Very interesting choice to do that. So, of course, when you get back, you obviously feel it's all your fault, and start running away in slow motion, which everyone does when they're sad. So this is the level that actually Smoothie was talking about earlier, that you'll notice my PB is 37 seconds and the world record is 2 minutes and 42 seconds. And you may ask, why is there such a big difference? So it turns out this final level is split up into 3 parts. And if you fall and die on the 3rd part, the timer resets. So when you finish the 3rd part, it keeps your PB as the time that you had for that 3rd section, which for me is currently 37 seconds. So it's very interesting. And yes, throwing pies and tripping her to arson and murdering. Well, her family's still alive. They haven't at least murdered her family, so they didn't go that far.
Don't want to be too.
But yeah, so you
Come
start slow, and then she feels bad about herself, and then remembers all the people who are now telling her that you made their lives better. And then she runs a little faster.
Oh, good.
So it's glad that you don't have to do this whole level in slow motion. You do it in slow, medium, and then normal speed.
Yeah, this doesn't seem very fast for a speed game.
Yeah, it's this level's pretty slow for a speed game, and it's the second last level of the game. So it's very interesting because you get to spend the last, except for the very last level, running at super slow motion. Yes. But if you think about it, they don't just throw pies and try and trip you. They make sure to laugh really good at you once you fall. So they just want to add that extra salt in the room. So we're kind of hitting our second checkpoint here. So we're going to try and not die. Otherwise, if we don't, then we're going to try and go for that PB. So now we're up to full speed. So the movement has to be a little more careful here because it's pretty easy to jump off into those shadows down below. So what we want to do is do a small jump here to avoid making contact with that column. And then we're going to do a slightly larger jump to try and skip these two here, which it looks like we were able to do. So all I need to do is not fall, and I'm past kind of the hard part of the level. So ideally I do this jump late enough so I land on the ground, which I did. And that's good. So she comes back, apparently just ran a big circle, and then realized that, hey, all the people did such a good job that they came to help rebuild. So she feels happy again and realizes that the only way to get true closing is to completely ruin this mega corporation.
Wait, was her brother in a wheelchair there?
Yes, he was in a wheelchair. That's why he doesn't pizza deliver. He just takes the orders. He does a great job at it.
But he's got wheels.
Yeah.
He can just roll around.
Yeah. Although on the rooftops, that's a little more difficult.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's no ground.
Yeah, they're not
Sorry.
quite as friendly, wheelchair accessible on the rooftops.
Why you just got like jetpacks to it?
So this is the final level. Apparently their factory is made up of Donkey Kong. So you want to start by jumping over these barrels, get up some full speed, and then ride on these things here. So far, it's looking okay. So you want to turn around, jump up, made it. And then make it over here. So you lose your speed, but that's fine because this is the quickest way to make it up. So I'm probably not going to PB, but I'm going to be close, which is better than my practice runs were going. So I'm going to wait for this barrel just to play it safe. If I didn't have those really two bad levels that, cost me 15 seconds, it could have been a lot better, but such is life. So this is the helicopter we're out running. And time's going to be coming up once I roll after hitting the helipad. So here's the explosion. You use this giant explosion to ride your way over, and that's time. So 35:55, pretty good. You can see there, number 5 on the leaderboard. So there's a few people who have decent enough times on this game. It's pretty easy to pick up. Yeah, quickest route to stop in slow platform, exactly. But you do what you can. So I'm just gonna quickly play the last bit here and get him to agree that they lost 0.01% of their profits because their pizza was better. And apparently she secretly records him and shares it to all the people, and that is, of course, going to ruin his pizza company. So in the end, you've totally ruined him by making them admit that somebody else's pizza is better.
You dox him.
Yeah.
So basically, you're bullying him.
Well, you more like...
extortion?
Yeah,
extortion,
well the thing is,
blackmail.
you were live streaming it, so you just kind of invaded some privacy. That's it. So
Oh, right.
it's minor.
So this is
future
just a
IRL
one-party state. They only one party.
It's absolutely a one-party state.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Two-party state, she would be in jail by the end of the game. But
for
no,
sure.
one-party state. She definitely makes sure to follow privacy laws. That only makes sense.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes. So, yeah, that's Ninja Pizza Girl.
Sick.
If you enjoyed it, yeah, feel free to give it a try. It's got a very accessible speedrun mode, and you can always get a little better. So
Can we mod the game so that all the evil guys have Papa John shirts on?
that's a great question. If you figure out how to do that, feel free and share it with me, because that would make for a great watch. Okay, so I think that's it for me. Next up, we're going to have some golf from FFR Pro. So we're going to jump to some intermission quick and get some golfing in there.
Yeah,
Hell
I've been
yeah.
having like one
The
eye
best
on
kind
the
of
TV.
speed.
Yeah,
game.
seriously.
Yeah, the best kind of speed game. Okay,
Golf is the best speed game.
so we can jump it over to intermission.